Welcome, wonderful people, to the Sunday rune and card reading. Our readings this week are being helped along by the extraordinary energy of these three angels. We have a cherry quartz angel, we have a honey calcite angel, and we have an obsidian angel. I'll talk in a moment about the meanings of these. If you are new to my readings, wonderful people, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome. Just wonderful that you are all joining me today. Thank you so much. If you are new and you would like to receive a handout with the additional guidance, in the information box below you will find two email list links to join. One will give you, basically I email out every single week, once a week, just with the extra information for the guidance for these readings. That email will always take you to, there's always a link there to take you to a page, and indeed when you join the list it automatically takes you to a page where you can download any of the PDFs from any of the readings, and also any from any of the webinars that I do as well, any of those handouts too. So that is one email list. The second email list will take you to basically it's a subscriber list, so that you can be in the draw to win either a free private reading or the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. I do a draw every month. Somebody asked me, in fact a couple of people have contacted me and said, do we have to enter the draw every single month? No. If you are a subscriber, once you are subscribed and you're on that email list, that is it. It's just an easy way for me to be able to contact the people who've won. I always do make an announcement as well though, so you can keep an eye out for that announcement. In fact, I did it just a couple of days ago for June. So wonderful, wonderful people, let us begin our readings. Now, cherry quartz, let's just talk about this beautiful little angel. This angel radiates energy, really. It feels so buoyant, so positive, it's optimistic. Cherry quartz is said to increase our energy, full stop, and it is said to shift, literally create a shift in our fortune. It helps to remove any form of stuckness. If we feel that we're stuck or something isn't moving forwards, cherry quartz is the one to carry. Our second angel, our reading number 2 angel, is honey calcite. Honey calcite is a stone of leadership. It is said to give us confidence, help us to, it raises our vibration, helps us to overcome difficulties. For me, it always kind of emanates something of a solidness. There's a real strength about it, but it's not it's a strength that is really kind, compassionate are the words that are coming through for me as I sit with the energy of this. It's solid. It's like it gives you a foundation stone upon which to stand. So if you're going through any transition or you're feeling a bit wobbly about making decisions, honey calcite, that may well be the reading for you. Our third reading is governed by the energy of obsidian. Obsidian is the warrior stone. It's said to bring us protection, even in periods of darkness. Obsidian is a stone that is used in shamanic journeying. If you're looking for an answer within, but you feel as you journey within, or if you're going through, if you're looking, I don't know, if you were journeying in therapy even into the depths of your unconscious, wanting to discover the answers from within, then obsidian may well be really the stone to carry. Wonderful, wonderful angels, very, very different energy. Wonderful collaboration, I have to say, as well. So let's draw some cards. Okay, that'll be reading number 1 then. No question there. Wow, these cards are utterly, I'll show you as if I can move my hands a bit further forward. They are electric today. These cards are really, really electric, actually. And that one is leaping out. So there we are. Very electric, very buoyant energy here. But it's an interesting energy actually around. It's vibrant, a real vibrancy around. Notice I often speak about this when I'm doing my readings. I have a full view of my garden, and we have a magpie visiting. It was really interesting as we drew these cards. We have had a magnificent crow visiting, who actually has white feathers in his wings. Now he has just departed, and as we're drawing these cards, we have a magpie. Nice to be visited by this kind of natural energy, I think, as we sit and work with these readings. I think nature often brings us the messages and additional guidance that we may need to hear. Okay, and we're going to use a third tarot pack as well. 3 tarots today. This is a lovely pack of cards. It's actually a first edition. It was given to me a while ago. I don't always use them, but they are very, very powerful. I think these are the Mirror of the Soul tarot. They're an Aleister Crowley pack. And that one is definitely speaking to us for this reading. You may find, wonderful people, as I'm drawing the cards, that you are drawn already to a particular reading. That's absolutely fine. You may find more than one is speaking to you. You may have already known when I was speaking about the angels which one is right for you. Or indeed, you may also, of course, find that more than one speaks to you as well. So let's grab our runes. Rune 1, rune 2, and rune 3. Okay, wonderful people. So this is the time in the readings when we take a moment and we pause and we tune into our intuition. Now, as I've been speaking about the angels, or indeed as I've drawn the cards, you may actually have found that one or other reading or one or other of the angels was speaking really, really loudly to you already. You may find you're drawn to more than one. I know sometimes for me, I listen to more than one of readings when I'm looking at a pick a card reading, and sometimes it's a combination of several that really give me the insights that I'm needing. In fact, sometimes one will follow through to another for me. But sit with your intuition, pause the video if you need to, take your time, and well, wonderful people, namaste, so much love to you, and I will see you in whichever reading is calling to you first. Welcome to reading number 1. So our first rune is the rune of Gateway. Our second is the rune of Constraint. And the third is the rune of Wholeness. This is the path you must follow. Okay, this is really interesting because there's a really clear message and a very clear sort of story already here. Remember the energy of cherry quartz. Cherry quartz is very buoyant, it's very optimistic. It's said to help us to overcome difficulties. If we're feeling stuck, or there's a stagnant situation or a constrained or restricted situation, it will move something forwards for the better. Now, the rune of Gateway asks us or invites us to review. The rune of Gateway speaks of the need to evaluate, to pause, press a pause button, and to really, really look at our situation, not just where we are right now, but the process of how we got to where we are. It's really the message that's coming through. When we can lean into the learning from any situation, we can then step through the gateway, because we step into a space of gratitude, and that uplifts our energy. It moves us to a space of optimism. Now, I think you're being invited to review, to really look at something in terms of how you got to be here, or the circumstances that led to where you are, because that's going to kind of free up something. Something around you is feeling as though it needs to be shifted and moved forwards. I think there is a very specific pathway that you need to follow, but the answers and the breaking free, the moving forwards, come from this space of reflection. Let's look at our cards. So first of all, we have the card of unhappiness, which is really interesting, because this card, it's not suggesting you're going to be unhappy. It tends to suggest we are not in alignment with some aspect of kind of almost like the calling of our soul. I'll read this in just a moment. And here we have the card of the devil sitting alongside. This is very much about, I know the card of the devil has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different packs, and different packs have very different interpretations. For me, the devil ultimately is a card of self-liberation. If again we're confining ourselves to something that doesn't fit with us, we're wearing we're kind of, I don't know, wearing a coat that doesn't really belong, like a square peg in a round hole in some way. So something isn't working, but we actually have the power, the empowerment to make the choices to shift that forwards. Okay, this is very, very interesting. So we have 3 cards here. We have now the Sun, we have the 3 of Cups in reverse, and we have the 10 of Pentacles. We then have the King of Earth. This is a lovely reading. This is like a reading of the potential for manifestation. That's what I want to say. So first of all, unhappiness. Unhappiness is frequently the result of an inability to live in alignment with the calling of our soul. And by that, I'm really just going to extend that and say, in any circumstance, whether we're talking a work circumstance, a home circumstance, a relationship circumstance, it's when something isn't in balance within you, some aspect of life isn't working for you. When this happens, our uneasy and challenging emotions are an indication that we need to listen to ourselves. This card asks you to have faith and to trust. Get still, pause, meditate, listen to the voice of your heart, and open yourself to receive guidance. Now, there's a really clear message coming through here, wonderful people. This is about listening to your desires, understanding that if you are feeling some unrest, unease, or some constraint or some restriction, that your feelings aren't telling you that you have to remain stuck. Quite the opposite. Your feelings are actually there to help you to kind of launch that rocket of desire into the universe, asking for things to change. Because if you identify that something isn't right for you, then you will have the ability to actually work out that which you desire and take action accordingly. There is a path you need to follow here. The Sun speaks of energy being available to you, source energy. Now this is interesting because we have the 3 of Cups in reverse. Now this would suggest that something hasn't quite reached its initial stage of completion. Something is slow in coming to fruition. And it's not like, it's kind of like if you were building, if we use the analogy of building a house, you've built the foundations, you've got the plans in front of you, but something has felt a little bit stuck, or something has become stuck. It isn't the bigger picture. The bigger picture, whatever it is that you desire, that pathway of wholeness is right for you. I would say that there is something in you possibly, and again, this is what I'm being shown, the rune of Gateway. The evaluation we're asked is to really look back. You know, sometimes we see an image with this rune where we're given an image of someone sitting at the top of a mountain and casting their mind way back through their entire life, everything that has caused them to get to where they are. It would suggest that there is I think there's some kind of limiting belief around you, or something in you is saying I can't have, or it won't emerge, or it won't happen, or I'm not entitled. And actually you are entitled. This reading is really, really affirming that. You are being invited to release something in order to walk that pathway. I think you're going to need to take action as well in some way. I'm just going to shift some energy in the reading while I'm doing it. I do this sometimes, but I feel it's really a helpful thing to do if we just sit with these cards as they are. Now, if you are able to listen to your feelings, identify that which you really desire, allow yourself to believe in that sense of entitlement, then this card is going to shift. Okay, this is this. If you pause, you do the reflection, you allow yourself to lean into the learning, you sit in a space of gratitude, you raise the energy. This card will shift. Whatever needs to be completed to have its initial stage of completion, it will come to fruition. And there is a long-term, positive, wonderful, lovely future being indicated here. King of Earth, this is a card of manifestation for me, always the energy of manifestation. So I feel like this whole reading is about creating a shift. For some of you, it may well be to do with relationship. For others, it could be a project, a work situation. But the overall energy is about creating a shift. And actually the key to that is just to listen. Don't see your feelings as the problem. Understand your feelings as showing you, almost like it's like your avenue of investigation. You need to become that inner detective. Cast your mind back. Do that reflection. The moment you identify that which you need to shift, it will indeed shift. There is a definite pathway for you to follow. And there is so much promise in this reading. So much promise in terms of manifestation. So yeah, trust your feelings as a guide to look at something that needs to be processed and moved forwards. So really super lovely energy to this reading. So wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, if you would like to be in the draw to win a pack, a first edition pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, don't forget to subscribe and join the email list. And of course you will also be in the running potentially for a free private reading as well. Wonderful, wonderful people. So much love to you. Namaste, and I will see you soon. Welcome to reading number 2. Let's have a look at our runes. So we have the rune of disruption, the Great Awakener, I always think. We have the rune of defense. This can suggest a need to be managing our emotions, yeah, not being reactive but being responsive. So if there is disruption, I want to say trust that there's purpose to it. Actually, that's what I'm really hearing. And then we have the rune of the spiritual warrior, but in reversed. I'm curious as to what that is voicing to us. Now it may be that you're needing to hold your boundaries over something. Let's look at our cards. So okay, the inner critic. Some of you, I think, may be giving yourselves quite a hard time. Ace of Cups, this is all about new relationships. Let's move these along. So we have the card of the Fool. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Eight of Swords. And last but not least, we have the Ten of Fire. Okay, so you're holding yourself back in some way. There's a degree of criticism going on. Now this is really interesting because honey calcite, it's a stone of leadership. This angel really encourages you to overcome any difficulties. It raises vibration, it helps to overcome obstacles. In this instance, I'm going to say the obstacle is sitting within. The inner critic. This card asks you to transform your inner critic into an inner critique. The realistic appraisal and constructive feedback of a critique will enhance your ability to step into the very best version of yourself, whereas ongoing and persistent criticism will weigh you down, eroding your confidence and your belief in your abilities. Ace of Cups, new relationships. This feels like, okay, so there's disruption. Something isn't running smoothly. You're at the beginning of something, I think, for This is predominantly a relationship reading. So it may be that you are looking for love. It may be that you've just met somebody, you're just starting out on a relationship. Whatever it is, the energy around you is brand new. Okay, so I'm hearing quite a clear message coming through here, which is to do with remaining balanced and keeping yourself in alignment. So when we first start a relationship, I don't know about you guys, but for me, beginnings of relationships, I personally have always found when I'm at the beginning of anything new, probably, that's when my insecurities surface. Because, you know, whenever we start something new, it feels like we're taking a risk. Any history that has, you know, surfaced previously is bound and inevitably to arrive. You're being called to really be aware of that. Don't criticize yourself for that, but this is where the critique comes in. Something is disruptive around you, and I think it's actually the inner energy that's disruptive. Now, it may be that something's happened that has caused you to feel a little bit more insecure about something, but one way or the other, it's like there's a wobble going on around you. This is the beginning of a new phase of relationship, whether it's you've met someone or you're looking to meet someone or you're in an existing relationship and you're going to up the game. One way or the other, there is a little bit of concern or anxiety. There's just some insecurity around in some way, shape or form. This is really inviting you not to look at that critically, because it kind of, that's quite a reactive way to be. Now, the rune of defense, for me, it also speaks of boundaries. We need to hold our own boundaries, not try to make something happen too quickly, and yet also, you know, for some of you, if somebody is very new, really also, you know, there's something about taking your time here, but not holding the process back energetically. Just allowing it to emerge and remaining centered. Now, you have a major opportunity here to overcome something. That's what this reading is really speaking about. This is the right time. This is very permission giving. This is the right time to step up, take that leap into the new. You know, at times of accelerated growth and upheaval. Honey calcite is a wonderful stone to help us to remain grounded. This card is speaking about keeping yourself balanced. Don't allow yourself to be swept along by your emotions, whether they are, I kind of want to say, it's both the highs and the lows. You know, we can get ecstatically involved in what we believe will happen, or what we in seeing what we want to see. It's that saying, love is blind, you know, which is really true, I think. You know, when we meet someone, we see everything that we want to see, and then we can be disappointed. Alternatively, we can be so full of insecurities we can imagine the worst. We're being asked in this reading, invited, not to do either of those options, but to allow something to emerge. This is definitely a good time to be taking a risk, to be launching into the new, but just, yeah, remain grounded, meditate, keep your desires in focus. The inner critic, that definitely needs to kind of leave the building, but by all means, rather than indulging in the criticism, use it as a critique. Allow yourself, if you're feeling difficult emotions, don't criticize yourselves for those emotions. Critique, listen to them, see where they've come from, put them down, meditate, remain grounded. Yeah, if there are disruptions or something doesn't happen quite as quickly as you want, trust it's with purpose, it's showing you something. This is a really amazing opportunity here to overcome something. 4 of Swords, 8 of Swords, 10 of Fire. Keeping your own balance, keeping your own alignment, stepping into that position of personal leadership, being your own hero or heroine. This is the right time. This is so the right time for a beginning. But there's definitely the energy of wobble. Now, it's interesting, in reading number 1, I shifted the energy. I played with the energy a little bit within the reading, and I'm going to do the same here, but in a different way. So sit with the energy of this as it is. Just tune into what it feels like to have a strong inner critic. You know, for some people, the inner critic is not just a critic. To be honest, it's more like having an inner bully who constantly puts you down. This is holding you back, and it needs to be addressed. Critique is good, critic is not, critical is not. When you shift this card so that actually your confidence starts to rise, because you begin to think, I can use this critique to really keep me firmly in the driving seat. I can see where I'm going. I can choose to make very conscious choices, because a critique helps to appraise a situation. That's when we then shift. So sit with that. Remember, energy is so right here for new beginnings, and you get to overcome any of those issues that are keeping you imbalanced. This rune here, the pathway of the warrior, can shift. Okay, we can shift the energy of that, and it literally lifts as we do that. This is also about walking that pathway of integrity. So really, really important. You remember criticisms, judgments, that's not about integrity. That's the naming, blaming, shaming game, you know, whether it's done to us or we do it to others, or in this instance we do it to ourselves. It's not helpful. It's really time to overcome that. Hold your own boundaries with yourself. Trust your emotions as guiding you. Don't collapse into the highs and lows. If there is a disruption, it's fine. It's showing you something. This is the right time for a new beginning here. Having a message very specifically coming through, actually, which is for those of you that are starting, you know, looking for a relationship. If you are dating and you meet someone and it doesn't work through, it doesn't mean it's not the right time for a new beginning. I think for some of you, there may be, you know, if we meet someone and it doesn't work out, we can sort of go down the sort of, you know, it'll never happen to me kind of thing. That sort of, again, there must be something wrong with me. Those kind of inner messages. This reading is really saying, you know, actually, if something doesn't work through, maybe that they're probably not the right person. There's somebody else, but the process is ready for you to begin. You may need to like date several people in order to find the right one, basically. But one way or the other, everything here is about overcoming the inner blocks to relationships, and that is whether that's moving into a higher level of commitment, a higher level of desire, or whether it is actually literally giving yourself permission to embrace that new beginning and allow yourself to have that new beginning. Just remain grounded. Keep yourself in balance. Everything energetically here is working with you. Wonderful, wonderful people. So much love to you. Don't forget, if you would like to be in the draw to win a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, or indeed a free private reading, once you are subscribed, if you then enter that, the email list is below. Wonderful people, so much love to you. Namaste. And yeah, this feels exciting. Yeah, so really allow yourselves to have, is the word, really have what you desire. Allow yourselves to sit in that space of belief. Remove this. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3. We have our first rune, which is the rune of the self in reverse. Our second rune is the rune of strength. And our third rune is the rune of protection. That's interesting because, of course, this obsidian angel is also an angel of protection. It's the warrior stone. So very, very interesting here. So something's not feeling okay within you. Either you're out of alignment, but there is strength and source energy around you. There's energy available to you to move something forwards. Let's look at our cards. Be your brilliant self. Yeah, be you, please. The Mages. Now, this is a card of manifestation. Okay, we have, this is interesting. We have 2 kings. The first is in reverse. Move these along. We have King of Swords, we have the Death card, and we have the King of Cups. So something is feeling out of balance at the moment within you. Okay, then we have the Ace of Water. It may be that there's a need for some form of emotional release here. Something is changing, actually. Your external world is changing. And I want to say it's for the good. There is a brand new beginning here. For some of you, again, it's quite an essence of relationships coming through these readings today. For some of you, this is about a new relationship. Your relationship status is changing. But for others, one way or the other, this is about you manifesting. Now, The self in reverse. You know, everything starts with us. If we are manifesting, then we are, which of course we are, we're all co-creating in our world. The self in reverse would suggest you're not seeing something, or something's getting you down and you're struggling to kind of almost like to put it the right way up. Something's happened, it may be several things have happened, but you're struggling to lean into that sort of positive and higher vibration. Something has happened, actually, that's what I'm hearing. Something has happened, some circumstance has happened, and it's thrown you a little bit. I think you were fairly on track, actually, in your world, to be honest, but something has happened and it's caused you to, it has literally thrown you. It's like it temporarily pulled the rug out from under your feet. That's what I really feel here. Hence this black obsidian, wonderful black obsidian angel, the warrior stone. Now, this beautiful little angel, literally, and it's quite curious, I feel like I have there's like a bubble around us in this reading, but it's almost as though someone has put a coat of armour around the reading. There's a sense of, you know, you're safe. You haven't done anything wrong, you're safe, you don't need to worry about this anymore. There is something about this, the energy, something has taken place that has been quite challenging in some way. It has literally pulled the rug out from under your feet. Whatever that is in your personal circumstances, this is changing. We have the Death card, wonderful, the card of transformation. This is shifting. It's very much a sort of what I would call a Pluto. Astrologically, there's like a Pluto energy here as well, which I would associate with black obsidian as well. There's a transformation taking place. Something is shifting. Be your brilliant self. This is, if you can align your own energy, I'm going to shift the energy in this reading too. Do you know, in every single reading this week, I've shifted the energy in some way when we've kind of really noticed what it is we're needing to do to create that shift. Be your brilliant self. Be great today, be brilliant. This card asks you to get in touch with the extraordinariness of everyday living. There's something very humble about this little bubble of protection that I'm sitting in. It does feel very humble. There's a simplicity here. Go about your daily life doing everything to the very best of your ability. Be extraordinary in an ordinary way. Your brilliance will radiate into the world, creating more change than you could possibly imagine. This is like shifting from the inside out. The Magus for me is, this is a card of heightened communication, tuning back into the energy of this wonderful obsidian angel. Black obsidian is an energy that we can use to journey. It's used in shamanic journeying. It's said to offer a mirror to the soul if we wish to travel deeply into the psyche, into the depths of our unconscious and discover the answers. You know, black obsidian gives us the protection and the literally the insight. It connects us to that higher knowledge. So the Magus, this is a card of communication. I think you've been, whatever it is that's happened, it was showing you something. Listen to the information it gave you, even if it was a little bit harsh and a little bit hard to handle. There was really good information there, and that information needed to come to you to support you in making changes. You are making changes actually in your external world. That's what I'm hearing. You're in the process of transformation. This is such a Pluto energy here. You're in this process of transformation. Something has happened. It was happening to show you something because you were going down a pathway. It's not that your pathway is wrong. It was something within that pathway, a component or within that pathway needed to be changed. You should now have the information and the knowledge you needed to be able to make those decisions that keep you on the pathway you need to be on. But it's as though it caused you some self-doubt and some wobble about your actual direction. I'm being shown that your actual direction is very clear. I'm seeing a very straight road ahead. It's just that you needed to, I don't know, it's like you needed, it's almost like, if I use the analogy, if I was driving a particular car along that road, I needed to change and use a different vehicle. Something needed to be changed and you needed to be shown that, but it was a challenging situation. The key here is to write your own energy. Be aware that what happened was showing you something you needed to see so that you didn't continue in the same vehicle, as it were. Now, having identified that, a bubble of protection is around you, and you are being invited now to just ground yourself, live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. Whatever you're doing, just do it as you do. Again, this is the same. This rune speaks that this is the very first rune. I'm just going to shift the energy upright here. So as we were stuck, gosh, there's a powerful shift in that. Move it back. Just recognize you've been thrown by something. You were being given good information, and you needed that information in order to make an adjustment. Now you've seen it. Yeah, that transformation process happens. Do you know, I literally felt that like really, really within me. It was quite a powerful shift of energy here. This actually allows you to now just ground yourself, walk that pathway of the warrior. Change starts from within. Do everything you're doing, even if if you're hanging the washing on the line, hang it beautifully. Whatever you're doing, do it well. The communication you needed in order to manifest has been given to you. Now, the King of Swords in reverse, interestingly enough, this is for me just was indicating that you were thrown. There's an emotional acknowledgement, validation that needs to take place. An emotional release is what I'm hearing. As you reground yourself, and as you write this, because you see the lesson you needed, you make the decision, you adjust whatever it is, you buy the new car or change vehicle or whatever it is you're doing, whatever you needed to change, as soon as you do that, as soon as you take that manifestation action, this will also, I think, shift, okay? I'm also going to say in this reverse position, somebody was actually not being particularly honest or ethical around you. That's also what I'm hearing from this, and that was part of what threw you. That is now shifting, it is transforming. So I'm actually tempted to leave this in reverse. The writing of this is enough. You needed to see this whatever it was you needed to see. It's helped you to evaluate. Your pathway of evaluation is very, very clear. But actually the energy of this, I'm going to shift it this way, okay? Because the person that was behaving unethically, not being honest, is no longer of a concern for you. You've seen them clearly. You're able to shift and move this forwards. You've dealt with it. This is creating a transformational space in your external world. Things are going to become consolidated around you, which is, a good energy. The key is just you almost need to move into a little space of recovery. Emotional release is available to you in terms of the residue that was left, and there is a new emotionally empowered beginning happening here. So the transformation that's taking place, there is source energy available to you. I always feel with the rune of strength, it's like the universe has your back. Protection, you are being offered this. You have walked that pathway of the spiritual warrior. Yes, this happened, but it did need to happen, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen what you needed to change. Wonderful people, I hope this is making sense to you. It's a very powerful message, very, very clear actually. So don't forget, wonderful people, if you would like to be in the running to win a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, a first edition pack, or indeed a private reading, do join the email list. The link is below. And also, of course, if you wish to get the handouts too from these readings. Wonderful people, so much love to you. Namaste.